neighbor, this is Michael Andrews, the most trusted name in retirement north of the red, and you're listening to the Howdy Neighbor Retirement Show. Whether you're tuning in on America's favorite radio station, KPRV 92.5 FM, or catching the replay online, I'm glad that you're here. I'm coming to you from our studio on the world's tallest hill right here in Poto, Oklahoma, where I specialize in Medicare, retirement, and Social Security planning through Andrews Insurance. Even though we're based here in Oklahoma, the questions I get each week come from folks all across the region. So from Poto to Paris, Fort Smith to Fort Worth, if you're thinking about Medicare, Social Security, or how to make your money last in retirement, then you've come to the right place. Every week on this show, we tackle real-life questions from real people so you can make smarter decisions and head into retirement with a whole lot more confidence and a whole lot less stress. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. Our first question comes to us from Marvin. Marvin writes in and says, "Hey, Michael, I'm trying to understand this backdoor Roth idea. My wife and I both max out her 403B through work. Some of it goes to a Roth, but some goes to traditional. But we make too much to contribute directly to a Roth IRA. Are we allowed to do a backdoor Roth even though the traditional account is now through her employer? And if not now, could we do it later once she retires?" Thanks, Marvin. This is a great question, and you're not the only one who finds this stuff confusing. So let's start with the basics. A Roth IRA is a type of retirement account where you pay taxes on the money up front, and then everything grows tax-free. You don't owe a dime in taxes when you pull the money out in retirement, and that is a huge deal, especially if you expect to be in a higher tax bracket later, or you just want to have more flexibility with your income on down the road. Now, a backdoor Roth is a strategy where someone contributes to a traditional IRA, even if they don't get a deduction, and then later converts it over to a Roth IRA. It's a legal workaround for people whose income is too high to contribute directly to a Roth. But here is the key for you, Marvin. The strategy only works with personal IRAs and not with retirement plans through work like the 403B. So you won't be able to do a backdoor Roth conversion on this 403B account while you're still employed. Now, after your wife retires, that's when things open up. Once she rolls the 403B into an IRA, then you absolutely can look at doing Roth conversion if it makes sense for your tax situation. But before you do anything, it's critical to understand how much of the money in the IRA is going to be pre-tax and how the IRS applies the pro rata rule. That's the part where people can get tricked up really easily. So this is one of those situations where it really helps to sit down with someone and run the numbers. On to question number 2. This one comes from Lance. Lance has just retired and is feeling a little unsure about the advice he's getting, so here's what he asked. "Hey Michael, my financial advisor wants to put about 40% of our retirement money into alternative investments like private equity, real estate, and private credit. I'm not super comfortable with that much risk, and when I brought it up, he kind of brushed off my concerns. Is it just me, or is that a little too aggressive?" Lance, thank you so much. This is a really important topic, and I want to start by saying that your gut instinct matters a lot here. Most people heading into retirement want 3 things. They want simplicity, stability, and peace of mind. And that's completely reasonable. You've worked hard for this money, and now it's time for it to work for you without keeping you up at night. Now, these alternative investments can include things like private equity, real estate funds, private lending, and other non-traditional strategies. Some of these options might offer higher potential returns, but they also come with added risk and less liquidity, and in many cases, more complexity. So putting 40% of your retirement savings into that category, for most folks, that's a pretty aggressive move. But here's the bigger issue. It's not just the investment strategy, it's the relationship. If you brought up your concerns with your advisor and he brushed them off, then that's a problem. Retirement planning should be a two-way conversation. You should never feel pressured into something you don't fully understand or feel good about. At the end of the day, the right investment plan is the one that you feel comfortable with. Period. It's your money, it's your retirement, and you have every right to want a plan that matches your goals and your risk tolerance. So if you're sitting here thinking this doesn't feel quite right, you're not being difficult, you're being smart, and if your advisor isn't listening, it might be time to get a second opinion. All right, that will wrap up today's episode. Let's do a real quick recap of everything that we covered. First off, Marvin asked about using a backdoor Roth, and we broke down how this strategy works and why it's designed for IRAs, not employer retirement plans like a 403b, and how it might become an option once retirement rolls around. Then we skipped over to Lance, who wanted a second opinion on putting 40% of his retirement into alternative investments. We talked about why that might be too aggressive for some people, especially if your advisor isn't giving you clear answers or respecting your concerns. Here's the bottom line. Retirement planning isn't about chasing the hottest trend. It's about building a plan that fits your comfort level, your timeline, and your goals. And if you missed any part of today's show or just want to see a face made for radio, we post the full replay every Tuesday evening on the Howdy Neighbor Retirement Show Facebook page. Just give us a follow and feel free to share it with someone who could use a little more retirement peace of mind. And if you want to send in a question to be featured on a future episode of the show, just be sure to send it in to Ask Michael at andrews-insurance.com or go to andrewsinsurance918.com and click on Howdy Neighbor. So thanks again for listening, and we will see you all next week right here on the Howdy Neighbor Retirement Show. Thanks.